Hello everyone, welcome to week 2 live class. My name is Edmund Kabwe and I will be the one taking you guys through the class lessons today. So previously, last week we looked at introduction to HTML. We learned how to create project folders, and as you can see here, I have my project folders which I have created for this live lesson. And the name of my project folder is called live class, and I have folders in the project folder, which I have my CSS folder, I have my folder for images, and I also have a folder for pages. Now I can still add more folders to this. It's just as much as the pages the folders you need in your project folder. So I could also add a script folder. So I do not need a script folder, but just to refresh what we've learned, to create new folders, I would create a new folder here and call it script. So I have my script folder in my project folder, which when I have scripts to write, I can insert them in the script folder. Now I have my index page here, which we're going to use for the illustration today. So the index page, my index page is going to hold all the content that will be displayed on our web page. All right, so from the previous lessons, from the week 1, we learned that before we start writing our codes for the web page on the HTML, we start with the doc type declaration, and I'm going to do that here. So for those that are still having challenges downloading the Atom IDE, you can reach out to me on the WhatsApp group to guide you if you want to use the Atom IDE or you prefer to use the Visual Studio Code. You can always reach out to me if you need assistance downloading the Atom IDE. All right, now we have learned that we have several elements that makes up the HTML page, and we are going to start with the HTML, which is going to give us. So I'm using the short suggested elements my IDE are giving me, but I'm going to explain to you. So I'm going to be using it because of time. So this exercise will be fast, but I would explain as we go. So I'm going to take out what I need here. So I have the HTML tag, which we're going to have our codes in. And also in the HTML, we have the head elements, and my IDE has already suggested that I'll be using the meta tag chassis UTF-8, which is for standard alphabets and numbers. So we can refer back to the class lesson 1 for the lessons to know what these are used for. So I won't spend too much time on the meta tags. I would focus on what we are doing today, which is CSS colors and text properties, text fonts and text for our pages. So here I have my title in the head area, and I also have the meta tag chassis with the attributes chassis for the file UTF-8, which is for our standard numbers and alphabets. Now I am going to give a title. We also have the body element for our contents for this page. So I want to give a title here, which would be the title of what we are going to learn on this page, and I'm going to name it CSS colors. All right. Now, if you recall from last lesson, we name our pages using the title elements in the head area. So if I refresh my page here, you see the name of the web page has changed to the name that I've given in the title, which is CSS colors. And we're also going to have styles. So in this lesson, we're also going to look at CSS style sheets as well. So our focus would be now we're going to look at how we link or apply our CSS styles in our web page. So CSS is the meaning of CSS means cascading style sheets. We use CSS to apply styles to our web page, to the HTML elements, and it helps to give different views, different looks and displays to our web page. So as we progress in the course, we're going to see different ways that we can use our CSS to bring life to our web page. So first, we want to have the link that we're going to use. So CSS, we have different ways we can use CSS on our web page. We have the external style sheets, and we also have the embedded style, and we also have the inline style. Now I'm going to illustrate these three styles on the elements we're going to have in the body of this web page. All right, so let's create a content that we're going to apply these styles to on our web page. So first, we want to have a heading, and also we have looked at headings before, how we use headings and the different type of headings in our HTML page. We have the H1 to H6, and the H1 is the main heading, and from H2 to H6 are the subheadings. So we use them where they are required. So first, we want to have a heading, and I'm going to give a heading to this page. Then P, welcome. Now we have our heading. Refresh this my page. Now we can see the heading boldly written, "Welcome to School of Programming and Software Development." All right, first we want to have consents now that we are going to apply styles to. We're going to apply color styles, and then we're also going to look at different ways we can apply these color styles to our elements on the web page. So I want to have a subheading here. Using the H2 elements. And what we're going to have here, we're going to look at how I'm going to use this to label what we're going to do here. So we want to have a type of color applied to this heading, and I would call it named heading. So we have different type of colors, color properties in HTML. So we are going to look at the different type of color properties that we can use to apply colors to our elements. Now, this first heading, we're going to have colors that can be easily named using the name of the color. So the heading here is going to be for that. So that's why I'm going to give this named color example. we're also going to have a paragraph that's going to explain what we'll be doing in this heading. I'm going to say this div this uses named colors. All right, now we have a heading and a subheading, and also we have a paragraph. Now this is the display. So like the previous lessons where we learned in your lesson 1 videos, where you learned how to use the different elements, heading elements in HTML. So you can see the difference between the headings. Here we have the H1, which is boldly written as the main heading, Welcome to School of Programming Software Development, and also the subheading, where we're going to illustrate the type of color property that we're going to apply here, which is named color example. And this paragraph explains that we're going to be using named colors in this example. So now let's see how to apply styles inline first before we look at the embedded style, and then we look at the external style sheets last. All right, so to apply a style inline in your HTML, we use the attributes in the opening tag of an element. So we want to apply a style to this H2. We want to give it a color. We want to change the color of this text here. So to do that, we use the inline style. Now the inline style is also very important when designing a web page. Let's say you have multiple elements on this page, different text, different elements, different type of element, and you want to style the specific elements. Let's say we have an external style sheet where we have applied a general style to all the elements on this web page, but we don't want the general style to affect specific elements. So the inline style is very important way to do that, to make sure that a particular element is not affected by the general style. So we'll see how that works too as we go. So I'm going to use the style attributes. So if you recall, we called the properties, the tags in the opening tags. What we use to modify the elements are called attributes. So I'm going to use the style attributes, and it's written style and with an equal to sign and a double quotation, or you can use a single quotation as well. So we're just going to give the value, that's the style property, inside the quotes. Now let's give a style to this heading. We want the heading to have a particular color. So let's say we want to give it a color of dark red. Now I'm going to apply several properties illustrating how to apply colors to our elements. So the first property here I'm going to use is the color. So it's just written as color, a semicolon, and here we're going to specify the color we want to apply to this heading, and the color we want to use is dark red. So you see the heading says named color, so that's why we are using a particular name of color. So this is dark red, and I close this with a semicolon. Now the syntax is for the inline style is just like this. You first of all you use the style attributes, and you give the color property you want. In other cases we might want to use different CSS property. Maybe we don't want to apply a color, but in this case we are applying a color to this heading, so we use the color property and with colon, and then followed by the value, which is the color we are applying to this heading. And the color is dark red, and we close this using the semicolon inside the quotes that we have written for this property. So now I'm going to save this and see how it applies to the heading. So you see the color on the head H2 has changed to the dark red, which we have specified in the style inline style property. So this is how you apply inline styles to your elements. Now we're going to look at how to apply style using the embedded style sheet. So the embedded style, the second way you can apply styles, CSS styles to your web page, which is the embedded style. It's being done in the head area of the HTML page. So now in this head area, you're going to use also the style elements, but here it's going to have, so I'm going to take this out. Don't get confused. So the elements is written, it's not a void element like we had for the meta tags. It has a closing tag, opening tags, and a closing tag. Now, in between the opening tag of the style element is where we are going to apply our styles. Now, just like we did here, we use the color property to apply dark red color to the heading. Now, I also want to make sure that the paragraph has a particular color as well. So I'm going to add the color, and I'm also going to use a background color too as well. So let's do that now. First, let's add a background color to the H1. So while you use the embedded style, how do you apply styles to the element itself? We do that by specifying the exact element that we want to apply the style to. And here I want to apply style to the paragraph, and I also want to apply style to the H2 heading. So first, let's give the H2 heading a background color. So I'm going to type the H2 elements here, and in a pair of curly braces, I'm going to specify the style I want to apply to the H2 elements. And here I want a background color. So to give background colors, we use the CSS property called background color. So you can see from my options here, I have a background color, and this is what I want to apply to the H2 element. Now, the background color we're going to use here, since we're looking at named colors, background color is sky blue. Now, there are several colors we have in CSS and HTML generally, so you can choose whichever color you see fits for your web page. So I'm choosing sky blue for this heading, and also I want the paragraph, which I have here, to also have a color as well. So I want to show you how we can apply styles using the embedded style, and then after this we'll see how we can apply styles using an external style sheet. All right. Now, to apply style directly on the P tag, which is a paragraph, we are going to specify with the P tag elements. And in the pair of curly braces, just like we did for the H2 elements, we're going to specify the style that we want. So we also want to use a named color here. So we can decide to use, so we also, just like the inline style, you use the color property with a column, and you specify the color you want. So let's use green. Now we have applied the background color to the H2, and also a text color to the paragraph. Now if we refresh our page, we're going to see that the styles have been applied to the elements which we have specified in the embedded style sheet. So this is how you style your elements in the head area using the style elements and specifying the exact elements that you want to apply the style to. So there are different CSS properties. We're going to look at them as the course progresses. But today we're focusing on colors. Now we want to look at more examples of colors, how we can apply colors using the different color properties. Now I am going to create a style sheet, an external style sheet for the next exercise. So let's create this time let's create the design for the H1. All right, now in my CSS folder I have already created a style sheet, but I'm going to create another style sheet so you see how it's done. So I don't want to put this style sheet in this folder, but I just want you to know that we can have our style sheet in the folder and link it directly from the HTML file itself. So I'm going to show you that, but first of all, let's create the CSS file. So I say new file, and we're going to call this external style sheet main. And remember to always add the extension that will specify which file it is. So this is a CSS file, so I'm going to say main.css. Now in the main.css style sheet, we are going to give the color property to the H1. But first, we want to link this file, our style sheet, want to link it to the index.html file that we have here. And we do that in the head area using the link tag. The link element, which we've learned in the previous lesson, is the void element, and inside the link we have the attributes. We are going to specify the path to this file with the href attributes. Now this was suggested by my IDE, so I'm going to take it out and give the correct path which I have. Now there are different ways we can do this. We're going to locate this file from this href, specifying the path to this file. So I'm going to link two styles here. So I'm going to show you how we do this for the CSS file that is in the same roots directory with the index file. So as you can see here, I have the CSS file next to the index file, and both of them are in this root directory, which is the parent folder, my project folder, live class. So I do not have them in any folder. So to link this, all I have to do is mention the name of the file by just writing main and the extension itself, which is main.css. Now this part is just going to say that I want the styles that are in the main CSS that I'm going to write here to be displayed in my page. So this is going to link whatever style I give here in the main.css to the exact elements which I specify in the main.css. So the style I specify to the element is going to be affected here because I have linked it. I've linked it in this head area to say let it affect the elements which I have specified. Whatever style properties I apply to it will be affected on this page. Alright, so let's apply style to the H1 and see how this works. So just like we did for the embedded style, we are going to specify the exact element, and which is the H1, and also in the pair of curly braces we want to change the background color of the H1, which is welcome to School of Programming Software Development. So we use the background color and we specify the color we want. So let's use yellow for this. Since we're dealing with named color, we're going to use yellow, and I save. So always remember to save. If you're using the Atom ID, always remember to save before you check for the changes if it's been affected on your page. Now I have saved this, and I've said that I want the H1 to have a background color of yellow, and the H1 here holds the heading Welcome School of Programming and Software Development. So when I refresh my page, I'm going to see that because I have linked the external style sheet to this page, the style I've applied to the H1 affects the H1 alone, because I have specified that I want the H1 elements background to be yellow. So the H1 I have here background has changed to yellow. Now this is how we use the different ways to style our page with the CSS style sheet. Either we're using the external style sheet, or we're using the embedded style, or an inline style. Now I want to show you why the inline style is very important. So I have given a style here on the H2, which is the color of dark red. So I want to do a general style that would affect everything on this page, and let's see if it's going to affect the inline style. So now we can style any elements in the body elements. Any elements we have, we can style even the body elements itself. So I want to introduce you to a particular element that you can use to style a specific group of elements. So this would help you to have a well-structured page, whereby, let's say, I want these styles, these elements in this area, and I have other elements, assuming we have other elements. So I'm just going to show you this easily for you to see. So I want to give the elements we use to put other elements in a particular container so you can style them properly. We'll call it the div element, and it also has an opening tag and a closing tag. So I have used the shorts to the suggestion my ID has given me, but it's written as just like the other elements, open and close tag, the div named inside, and inside the div I have an attribute called class. Now I'm going to explain how this class works, but first you see that we have an open div element and a closed div element. Now inside this open and closed tag, whatever element we insert into this div tag can be isolated and styled separately from other elements we have on the page, as long as you use the class to specify a name for this container. So we use this for different purposes. You're going to be seeing a lot of divs in the front-end programming as you progress. So we use this for different purposes, but for this illustration, I'm going to use this to style just only specific elements that are going to be in this div. So we can have several divs on the web page as well. Now I want to show you why you need to use this to structure your page styling very well. Now if I go to the general style sheets here, and I say I want to style something that's going to affect everything. I want to style the body of this page, and since I have used an inline style here for the H2, I want to show you why the inline style first is important. Now I want to say the color of all text in the body elements should be okay, I've used red already, so I'm going to look for color that isn't going to contrast badly. Let's say gray. Okay, now you're going to see that the whole elements, every element we have here now, including even the ones in the div, every element inside this body elements are going to have the color that we have specified. But if you notice that we have, because we have specified an inline style, so you see the H1 is being affected. It has the gray color, which we have specified here. But because we have an inline style on the H2, the text remains the same. And also because we have also put this P element inside a div container, which we're going to give a class to and style separately, you see that they are isolated from the general style which we have on the page. So every element that are in the page that are not in this div is being affected. So this is one good way to structure your web page when you're designing your web page. So the H1, because it's not in this div, it's been affected. And if I take out the P element outside and put it here, let's refresh the page. Okay, so also the reason why the P tag is not being affected is because we have styled the P tag in the embedded style sheet. So the level of importance is, it starts from the inline style. So the inline style prevents any other style from affecting the elements which it's been specified. I'm going to return this here. And then the embedded style sheet is next of importance. So if the style has been given to a particular element in the embedded style, and you also apply a style here that is supposed to affect that style, it's going to look out for the embedded style sheet, the embedded style first before any other style. That's if it does not have an inline style. So you see here that because we have specified for the paragraph to have a color of green, the general color we've given to the whole body is not affecting the P. So if we take out this style and save, we're going to have the gray color which we have specified for the general page on the paragraph itself. So you can see the use of the different style sheets. So different style, CSS style. So we can use the external style sheet for a general style, and if you want maybe a specific style to be applied to specific elements, you want them to be isolated from the general style, you can use the embedded style for that. And then also, or maybe you just want a simple style, you don't want to use an external style sheet, whereby let's say you have just few styles on the page, you can use the embedded style sheet. And then if you want the particular element not to be affected by the embedded style or the external style sheet, you can also use the inline style. So you see the level of importance. That's why the P element was not affected, because we had a style for it in the embedded style. But if we don't have it in the embedded style, embedded area for the style, then if we don't have it there, then it's going to be affected just like it is now. So be it in the div or outside the div, it's still going to be affected. So wherever you put it, so long you do not have an inline style, it's going to be affected still. And so long you do not have an embedded style overriding the general style, it's also going to be affected. So this is one importance of the CSS style. Now I want to show you how to use div to structurally design your page. So I'm going to take this back and put it back here. So for the rest of this exercise, we're going to be using this div to illustrate the different ways we can apply colors to our page. Now, how does this div works? So I want only the elements in this container, which I have called div, to be affected when I give a style. Now, what do I give the style to? I have to give a class for this particular container. So I'm going to style whatever class name I give here, and it's going to affect the elements that are in this container holding with the class. So I want to name this class named color. Now I won't be using the external style sheets, so we can see all the styles all in one place. But for you to understand how it works, I used the previous exercise to example to show you that. So I'll be using just the embedded style sheets for the rest of this exercise. Now I want to take out this style, which I have applied to the H2 element. Now I want to apply the style directly to the class, which we named named color. And just like we did for the elements, we're also going to use pair of curly braces, and inside we're going to specify the colors we want to affect just only the elements inside this class. So I'm going to take out the inline style, else my styles will not take effect. Now, just like we did before, so if I save this and you see, you're going to find that our styles are no longer displaying. And then also, I'm going to take out this styles so it doesn't affect the page as well. Alright, so let's apply the styles to the class. And what we did was we gave a background color and specified the color to be sky blue. Okay. And we also give a text color, and we specified the text color to be dark red. So I save this, and okay, there's something wrong, and let's check what could be wrong. Okay, so the name of the class is not the exact name which I have written here. So this would give you a bug, and this will give you an error because you don't have the name written exactly as you have specified for the class. So here I have named color, so I'm going to make sure that I have the same exact name, and I saved it. Refresh our page. Now we can see the style applied properly. So we have our color, text color as dark red, and we have the background color as sky blue. Now let's have another div. I'll just copy this, save time. And this time we're going to give a different class for this div to illustrate the other types of colors which we have. And next type of CSS colors we'll be looking at are the hexadecimal colors. So I'll name this the hex color. So if you've seen the class lesson already, you must have learned how we use the hexadecimal colors, but I'm just going to throw more examples here so we can understand how it works and how it can be applied using this class to our web page, to our elements. So now what we're going to have here will be a decimal color example. Okay, let's take this out. Now let's apply, let's give styles to this particular element. So there also, now you're going to see that because we're using classes, we are going to have the different style we're applying to these elements, even though we have a H2 element here, and we also have a H2 element and a P paragraph here. So I'm going to, well, you'll see that when we apply a style to the class, it's not going to affect the different elements, even though we have a H2 here and a H2 here as well. Unless we are styling the H2 element itself, then it's going to affect all H2 elements on the page. But because we are using the class, this is now going to structure the elements in a way that is only the class, the element found in the classes we style will be affected. All right, so this div uses hexadecimal colors. Right, so let's apply styles to this. So to style classes, always make sure you use the full stop first before you give the name of the class. And the name of the class we have there is X color. Going to apply styles in the pair of curly braces. Now let's give hexadecimal colors color here, and we are going to also style the background color, and we're going to use the hexadecimal color of 00. So you can you don't have to memorize all of them because they are plenty. So what you do is you can always check online to see the specific color which you want. The advantage of using the hexadecimal colors is that you can have variations of colors. You can have different variations of colors from using the hexadecimal color. Now let's style the text color. I'm going to use another hexadecimal color here, and this will just be so we'll save this and see. Now the background color is yellow and the text color is a light shades of gray, or darker shades of gray. So I just got this color. I don't have the colors in my head. You can memorize as much as you want, but you don't have to. You can always get the colors, the exact color which you want, and once you get the hexadecimal code online, and you can apply it to your style. So here we have the hexadecimal color being applied to the background and also to the text itself. So we're going to have another div to illustrate the other type of color property we have. And for this, we're going to be using the RGB color. So this uses the RGB color. Let's style this class which we have created. Use the full stop, and then you give the name of the class which you have specified, which is RGB color. And the pair of curly braces, we're going to specify the exact style we want. Now we're also going to use the background color, but this time the value will be an RGB color value. So to style, to give the RGB color, we use the RGB value, and in a pair of brackets we are going to specify the numbers. Now we're going to use 255 1.2. So there are different shades and variations of colors, and this is one perfect way you can use to explore them. So let's also give a text color using the same RGB in the brackets. Give the values 51, 51, and close with a semicolon. Save this, and we have our RGB color example. With the RGB color we have specified for the background and also the text color as well. So you can see that it's different shades of color, unlike the one we did for the named color. Named color, we use the exact name. The hexadecimal color, we use hexadecimal values, and for RGB colors, we use the RGB values as well. So these are different ways we can apply color to our elements. Now let's see if we can look at CSS text and font properties. With a little time we have, so I'm going to just give you a quick example. Now I'm going to have a different heading for this. So in our H2, we want to learn CSS text property. So let's look at CSS text and font properties. Now in HTML, we have different properties we can apply to our text. So we're going to use CSS to illustrate how we can use the different CSS text properties to format our text or to style our text. So in the previous lessons, we have looked at different HTML text elements that we can use to format our elements. We saw how to use the bold, the italics, and the mark for background. So you can refer back to the class lesson to learn how that was done for you to remember. But here we're just going to look at how to style this text that we're going to have here with CSS text properties, text and font properties. So let's create the content here, and we're also going to use divs and classes as well, so we can effectively apply our styles to the elements we want. Now I'm going to create a div here, and for this div we're going to look at text properties. Inside our div, we're going to have another heading. This time, let's use H3. So here we're going to look at text size and font family. Paragraph, going to describe what we'll be doing here. So this paragraph will have a larger font size, and it's going to use the area fonts family. So we have different fonts as we use in Word documents and other text apps. So here we want to use similar fonts that we have on HTML to apply to these text properties here. So this text elements, the paragraph and the H3. So let's first of all style this element before we go to the other type of properties. Just want to position this very well. Okay, so let's apply a text property to our class, which we have created here. Just going to copy this to make this fast. So remember, we always use the full stop before the class name itself, and in a pair of curly braces we are going to give the style for this property. Now the font property, CSS font property we're going to use is called font size. So you can see here I have different type of font properties. We have font style, we have font family, font weight. So these are different font properties that we can apply to a style. But what we're going to use here is the font size. We want to show how we can adjust the size of fonts of our text in the web page. So we're going to specify using a value of 20px. So this is going to adjust the font size to this value which I have specified here. And close semicolon. And then also we want to change the fonts using the font family property. So just like the other properties which we are seeing here, we're going to choose the font family because that is what we want here. So we're going to look at the other properties and you can explore them yourself to as much as you can, so you can see the different ways you can apply these properties to your text. And the font family here we said we're going to use is the Arial, and it's written as Arial semicolon sans serif. So I save this, and you can see that the text font is looking different. So I'm going to take out this heading so you can see it different. Oh, but I hope you understand that the text font is different from. So this is the default. I'll leave this here so we can see the difference. So this is the default font property which we had. This was for the H3 heading we created, and this text size is for the H2 that's inside the div. So if you recall here where we created, okay, we created the H2 heading for what we're doing here, which is CSS text and font properties. And then inside the div where we have the H3 and a paragraph, we styled the class for this element and we applied a font size and a font family. So here you can see that the text size and font family are different from the other text which we have on the page. So because we have increased the font size, you can see that the H3 is now as big as the H2, but this doesn't make it a better heading. So for headings we can always use the heading elements, but here we are trying to create a type of heading that has this particular type of size, font size. So we use the font size property to specify the exact type of size we want for this heading. And then you can see also that the font is different from the other ones that we have. They did not specify the font family for. So this is how you apply the font and size property from CSS to affect our elements in the web page. Okay, so we're going to look at how to use colors too as well to format our text. And then for that, we're going to have another div. And this time the class will be color. I'm going to have another h3. Okay, so I'm going to, because of time, I just noticed that we're far behind time. So since we have done much exercise on the colors, I'm going to skip this, and then we're going to look at decoration properties. So let's change this to decoration properties. Let's hit them before text decoration example. And let's have a paragraph. And this paragraph is describing what we're going to do here, which is going to have an underline. So we're going to use the underline property for this class. Now, if you recall, we already learned how to apply underline formats to our text using the U tag. But here I want to show you how we can use CSS to do that as well. So we have given a class for this container, which we have this elements that we want to apply the text formats underline to. Now, to apply the underline style, we use text decoration for that. Now, we have several text formats properties, so we can see the different options here, but I'm going to show you them as much as I can in the little time since we're past time. So first, let's just look at the text decoration. And for text decoration, we have different values. We have line through, just like we have for the in the last lesson where we used del for line through, and here we have none if you do not want to specify, and we have overline, we have underline, and inherit. So we're going to use underline to illustrate this exercise. So I save this, and now you can see that we have the heading and the paragraph in the underline formats. So the text decoration example, this paragraph has an underline decoration. So we can have as much properties as we want in a particular text body. So it all depends on what you want and the type of page you're trying to, website you're trying to create. So this is where we're going to stop. You can always reach out to me on the WhatsApp group if you have any questions. I would take as much questions as we can now with a little time. But if you have any challenges or you want to know further how to do much of this styling, you can always practice on your own. But if you have any challenges, you can still reach out to me. So I would wait for any questions before I end of the class. All right. In absence of questions, you can still reach out to me, and the live video is also recorded, and you can always rewatch it to learn more. And for those who could not attend, could also see it as well. All right, so I wish you all success in your assignments and have a lovely weekend ahead.
Thank you.
Bye.